Welcome back to Wargaming World, to Belgium 1914, and to another game of 1 Hour Wargames. Just to start by mentioning the new Facebook group, which is 1 Hour Wargames fan group. We've got plenty of members already, and if you want to contribute and get into the discussion, and join that group, and also see all of the various different videos, pictures, etc. For this rule set. Right, on with the game itself. Just to talk about the forces on this table, and what we're going to be doing is in the rule set itself, in the scenarios, it's scenario 5, which is about a particular bridgehead and how the Belgians might be able to hold back the advance of the German forces in 1914. And so the game in itself will be the Germans will be advancing across this bridge. The aim for the Belgians is to get them out of this area, making sure they can't advance any further, and to do so over a period of 15 turns. Now let's take a look at the forces themselves. So it's the first time I've been able to deploy my Belgian forces, and what you're looking at here right at the front are the Grenadiers. So we've got 2 units. We have the commanding officer at the front, and then a corporal is with the 5 men behind. On the next 2 units is standard line units. We've got a corporal with them on the second one, and then at the front a character who's going to help them for their commands there. We've got 2 units of the carabiniers, also with machine guns. If they need to move that heavy weapon, then we also have a dog team there at the backs, but they'll only be used when they move. But in terms of that unit there, they get a +2 in their firing with that heavy infantry unit. With the advancing Germans, we have 2 regular infantry at the front there. So we've got behind them 2 Jaegers, each have an NCO with them. And then to help that advance, and slight variance on the rule, we also have 2 cavalry units as well with their senior officers. So it's 6 units in total for both forces, but they enter the table in slightly different ways, so I'm going to talk that through in a moment. Now, the way the game is played is over 15 turns, as I've mentioned, and if you already have the rule set, it's really super simple to play, and you'll pick that up after the first couple of turns of the game. I'm just going to add a couple of extras to it. The first is the NCOs. So I've mentioned about the non-commissioned officers. So you've got each of the 4 German units, and all but 1 of the Belgians, they have 5 NCOs. And it means that in a particular turn, if the units don't move or fire, they can reduce the casualties that they have by 1. Now, each unit is removed after they receive 15 casualties. So by removing it by, or reducing it by 1, I should say, I can keep them going for an extra turn. Perhaps the exception, and the second rule, is the senior leader. The senior leader, so we've got the one at the front for the Belgian, and we've got it with the cavalry for the Germans. It means that commander can reduce the number by 1, similar to the NCO, but the unit that they act upon can also move or fire, so it gives them that extra flexibility for that turn. Now let me just talk you through the table itself, or the areas that they're being fought over. You'll see right in front of you we've got an area 3x3. You'll see there's a grid here, and this is exactly the same as it'll show you in the book itself. Now, I extend things across there. You can see across to the church and over in this area, buildings, and then obviously the rise there with the windmill, but just really just for I'll say decoration. The game itself is being played here 3 by 3, and this is how we start. So the German forces, the Jaegers, the first unit, has arrived on turn 1 and is coming across all through the bridge there. Now the Belgians will arrive in one of 3 points, across to the right hand side, either right at the front here across this road, or on the left hand side through from this town, which has already been hit with artillery, etc. And the idea is to advance and ensure that the Belgians can remove all German forces from this area over 15 turns. If they can, then they are the winners. If not, then it is a German victory. Right, so anybody who's not familiar, this is the rule set. The chapter is this one. Chapter 16 is Machine Age Wargaming. And as far as the rules are concerned, it's really very simple. So we have our movement, which is 6 inches for infantry, 12 for cavalry, and the firing is 12 inches also. And as I mentioned, this is the scenario 5, about a bridgehead. You have to bear in mind that the map essentially is the other way around, with the bridge at that end, and the Germans advancing. Right, okay, relatively straightforward. Let's go to turn 1. Now what we need to do for turn 1 is to roll for the direction of when 2 Belgian units appear. 1, 2 will be the right hand side, 3, 4 right at the front, 5, 6 on the left hand side. So 2 units going from the same place and right hand side, which means over here out from the woods. And we've got 2 grenadier units, including the senior leader, arriving on the right hand side. We need to advance towards our Germans here. Turn 2, so first to go are the Germans. So first Jaeger unit moves to face the advancing Belgians, and the second unit arrives on the bridge. So we turn in turn 2 to the Belgian advance, and they advance, and that is the end of the second turn. Turn 3, the Belgians get 2 more units. The one from the centre and one again on the right hand side. Okay, in the centre we have the Carabiniers. I don't know whether I trust my own pronunciation there, but they're advancing, and they also have a machine gun with them, dragged by the dogs. And over on the right hand side there we have line infantry, supported by a local farmer to fight against the Germans as they advance. We've also got these 2 units, they're also going to advance further forward. So the Germans have moved with the Jaegers further forward and the infantry behind it coming on the bridge. And to finish off turn 3, we'll have the first firing, which is the German unit at this unit in front of me. So it's D6, and that's 4 casualties. Now, one thing to mention, in terms of who goes first in each particular turn, I've followed it as a sequence based on the reinforcements. So once we get to turn 7, effectively, we'll have the same sequence. But as we now move into turn 4, I'm going to say the Germans go first. And so I'm going to say that this unit, the Jaegers on the right hand side, are going to fire at the same target. The Jaegers next to them are then going to move into attack and attack that unit. Unit behind them will move, and then there's another German unit to come in. First of all, the firing. 2 casualties, so it takes it up to 6. Okay, so it's only the attacking unit which inflicts casualties, so we need to roll for that. Just the 1. Okay, so at the end, that's up to 7 with this unit. Okay, over here I'm going to say the senior leader is near enough to this unit to reduce its numbers by 1, taking it down to 6, and then ordering it to attack the unit next to it. The right hand side is going to fire at the other Jaeger unit. So hand to hand combat first of all is 2, shooting is a 3. Elsewhere I've moved these units further forward. I'm going to try and trap the Germans towards the bridge. Turn 5 and we have the final 2 Belgian units arriving, so they go first, and again we've got 1 in the centre and 1 on the right hand side. So we have 1 unit arriving here and the second over on the right hand side there, so the line infantry is on the right, Carabiniers here in the centre. So we've got all of our Belgian units out, and it is the Belgian turn first. Quite a lot of firing. Now the machine gun is deployed. It's going to fire at the unit which is just coming off the bridge there. We've got hand-to-hand fighting, and then we've got that unit there on the right hand side firing at the same target, and then we also need to move this one. With the machine gun we add 2, so it's 3 hand-to-hand combat. Again, the leader is going to reduce this down by 1, so it'll be down to 5, and then it's the hand-to-hand fighting. 2, so the German unit is up to 4. Firing on the right hand side, just a 1. That German unit is up to 4, and the line unit is moving around that action there. So if we just stand back, you can see this is where the Belgians are advancing in turn 5, but we've still got the action from the Germans. Now, rather than firing back, I've got to get these infantry units off the bridge so I can get the cavalry in next time around. So those 2 have moved. Over here we're going to continue with the fighting there, and in terms of the other Jaeger unit, it's going to attack that Belgian force. Let's work out the 2 casualties. Firstly, the Belgian unit that's on 5, well, that takes 6, so it's up to 11, and the second unit takes 3. And the final thing in turn 5 is the German cavalry now begins to move through. We've got the senior leader at the back there. So that is the end of turn 5, and we turn to turn 6, where again we have another German cavalry unit advancing. Remember that the cavalry moves 12 inches as well. The Germans also go first in terms of actions. Now I've moved these 2 units further forward because I need to create a gap for the cavalry now to pour through on what is effectively the weak left flank of the Belgian forces. And here come the German cavalry charging through into this area. There's 2 areas of fighting over here. Now the Belgians are on 11 for the unit on the left hand side. If we get a high number, it's going to be removed if it gets to 15, and it's 1, so it goes to 12. And on the other side it's 3, and that's 6 in total. Move this unit, this heavy infantry unit, to the left hand side. I can recognise that the cavalry are coming, remembering of course that the Belgians have got to remove all of the Germans off this side of the river by turn 15, so we can't really have a defensive position, but it's prudent to cover that flank. I'm also going to move this unit on the right hand side to back up those 2 units there, with a possibility that one of the units is going to disappear. That's where this unit gets to. So this unit is going to fire, and it's going to fire at the unit right opposite along that road, and then this unit to the right hand side here, I'm showing you there, will then move into attack. So machine gun is +2, so that's 7. And now this combat, you only roll for the attacker, down to 6. Now it's up to a critical point, so 13 for that unit. Now I'm just going to roll for this unit. The senior leader is just going to stick to the unit on the right hand side. I think he's thought that this is probably a lost cause. Impact on the Germans is 3, so that unit is up to 7. And on the right hand side, the senior leader can reduce the 6 down to 5, and the unit can then continue fighting. German unit is on 4 at the moment, plus 5 is 9. So we've played 6 turns, and as we look at it, the Germans on the German left flank, so it's on the right as we see it, the infantry are beginning to struggle there against the Belgian forces. Cavalry is pushing through, and remembering that in this game it's up to the Belgians to make sure that none of the German units remain over the river after turn 15, which might be difficult with cavalry. However, if the Belgians have also taken the bridge, then we might see how we interpret the result. As it is, let's turn to turn 7, and now it'll be the same in terms of who goes first. So first it's going to be the Germans, and then it'll just be an I go, you go sequence from there. Well, the first move is that I've moved the cavalry unit straight into attack of this unit on the left hand side. It's within 12 inches and can do, so we need to roll for that. I don't think there are modifiers, so it's just 1d6, and it's a 6. This unit is going to fire at this one. The result is a 1, much as I have been for the Belgians. I'm going to say that the senior leader is sufficiently close to this unit to reduce it from 13 to 12, and for it to continue to fight. Casualties are 6. This cavalry unit has moved behind the infantry. And finally, for the German phase, we've got 2 units fighting. This unit is on 12. Over on the other side is on 5. The unit that's on 12 takes 3, that's 15, so that unit is removed. Another 6, and that's up to 11 as we go into the Belgian phase. Okay, remembering from this unit, it's 1d6 plus 2 with a machine gun, and that's 8. This unit, again with a machine gun at the infantry there, plus 2, that's 6. The unit I think is up to 9. Hand-to-hand fighting in the middle. If this is going to be a high number, or relatively high, the German unit is lost. And a 3 it is, that's up to 15. So now there's a gap straight towards the bridge. Now we have the units over here. We've got fighting going on over on this side. Now the senior leader is with it, so we're going to reduce the 11 down to 10, and then a roll. This German unit's on a 9, so if we have a 6, it's going to be a second unit that's lost. That's a 4, so that unit goes up to 13. It's up to critical, and this unit is going to fire, and it will fire at the German unit there. Just the 1, but that unit is up to 8. It's turn 8, and I feel like I've got to go for broke as far as the Germans are concerned. See if they can get some lucky rolls. So I'm going to have some combat down at the bottom here with the cavalry, and then some manoeuvres in the middle. Fighting down here. That's a 6. This unit goes up to 12. So the senior leader is going to remove one of the numbers here. So this infantry here is on 9, and reduce it to 8, and it's then going to fire at this unit in front of it, looking for a big number. It's only a 3, but with the 9 it means this unit next to it can fire at it, and potentially if it gets a 6 remove it. But a 5 means it's 1 off at 14. Fighting is going to continue there. This unit's on 10. Again with a 5 or 6 this could be removed, along with the senior leader. And that's exactly what's happened. And finally I've moved the cavalry into position for what would be further attack. So suddenly it's gone very open between the two. Okay, so over to the Belgians, starting here, 1d6 plus 2. That looks like a big number, and therefore as a result this unit is removed. machine gun team here, and it can fire at that infantry unit. Again, this +2, that's 6. Now, that takes it to 14, and I'm going to fire it again with that unit here, and it means it'll automatically remove it. And I'm going to say it also removes the senior leader who has been with them to support them as well. So that's really an automatic removal. And over here, this unit's going to fire at the German unit that is on 13. But with a 1, it's on 14, so it doesn't remove it. Now we're going through into turn 9, and I think I'm getting to the point where I can't really see how the Germans could win this game, but we will continue. There's a couple of units that are just going to disappear in this phase already, both on 14. But we've got a pretty secure unit in the middle. I'll point at it here. They've only had 1 casualty and a completely fresh unit there on the right hand side. So we'll continue and carry on, but I think this is going in the direction of the Belgians, but I hope, and I think really myself, is that this game could have gone either way as we've gone with the Royals, but you can have a think, see what you think yourself as you watch the video. It's the Germans to start turn 9. Cavalry attack on this side. This unit's on 12, so 3 or more and it's done, and it is. That's removed. And this unit that's on 8, this unit's on 14, so I'll just remove it from the board. And the one on the left hand side will fire at this unit. 2. I was looking at a Belgian victory, and then suddenly I've now looked at the table again and there's only 2 units on it. So anyway, let's carry on. First of all, the unit in the German unit on the top right will be removed. The Belgian unit to it will fire, and obviously a minimum of 1, so we'll remove that unit. The unit with the machine gun will fire at the unit that's over there with 8 already. Again, if we get a 6, we get a 5 or 6, it'll be removed. And it's a 5. Right, at that point I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it's a Belgian victory. I think the German cavalry can withdraw successfully back over the bridge or back towards the town perhaps. But with 2 fairly fresh Belgian units still there and a machine gun, I'm going to say that it is a Belgian victory. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed the game. It's followed the same, all the principles of a 1-hour war game. It's been a relatively quick game, a game you could play in an evening, no problem at all, without too many figures. I think 6 units aside, and a good purpose and scenario. And yeah, it's been up and down, I think, in terms of who could have won the game, but I think it's fair in the end to say that this has been a Belgian victory. If you've enjoyed the game and you want to have some thoughts about how we do other videos, then please feel free joining the Facebook group, and then you can add your thoughts and suggestions, or indeed the games that you play, and be happy to see those and pictures, videos, etc., and maybe replicate them for Wargaming World. So thanks as always, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and look forward to see you next time.